So he's a wrestle fanatic or a professional wrestler knowledge person. Yep. So he's here to tell me what really happened with Chris Benoit.
Yeah, the true story. Enough of this fucking disrespectful shit. Making videos about my fucking favorite wrestler, Chris Benoit. He's a good wrestler. He was a World Heavyweight Champion, WWE Champion, Tag Team Champion, you name it. He's been with the company for years, since the Attitude Era. He was going to be one of the best wrestlers of all time. So, at the time, around the whole timeline of Benoit getting all this stuff with Benoit, you know, speculation, blah, 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 theories, Benoit was feuding with a guy named Orlando Jordan. And at the time...
Hold on, I'd like to interrupt you.
Yes.
If I'm correct, he was also feuding with another person.
Yes, he was also feuding with Kevin Nash, but Kevin Nash was in TNA, so that feud wasn't as televised as it could have been, but people still knew about it. But the main feud was him and Orlando Jordan at the time. But Kevin Nash was still involved here and there. It was like a trio of a feud. So, the feud had gotten pretty heated. Orlando Jordan was talking shit about Benoit. Benoit was talking shit about Orlando Jordan. And Kevin Nash was doing the same about both the men. And Benoit really had gotten tired of it. He couldn't wait for the pay-per-view. The pay-per-view was Armageddon 2008. And the night before the pay-per-view of Armageddon 2008, Chris Benoit is preparing to go to sleep, you know, get some rest for his match. It's a big match for the United States Championship against these two men that he's been feuding with for a while, and he wanted to set the record straight. So he's tucking his son in. His son and his wife are there to tuck his son in. His son and his wife are there to tuck his son in. And he reads his son a Bible story every night before he goes to bed. So there was a Bible next to his son, a Bible next to his wife Nancy, and a Bible for Benoit. They were all reading from the Bible, stories from the Bible.
So that explains all the Bibles next to
Yeah, hang on, I'm getting to the speculation and the theory. So next thing you know, there's a knock at the door. Okay. Benoit's like, who is that? Benoit goes to the door. He leaves Nancy and his son back up there. And Benoit opens the door, and little does he know, it's Kevin Nash and Orlando Jordan. And they say, hey, Chris, we don't want to wait for the pay-per-view. We want it now. They start beating up Chris. Beating him. And then they're fighting inside the house. You know, lamps are being broke. Glass is being shattered. You know, shit's going all over. Pillows are being thrown. Everything's going haywire. And his wife, Chris Benoit's wife, and his son come down because they're waiting to finish the Bible story. They want to know what happened to Muhammad. So they're coming down, and they see Kevin Nash and Orlando Jordan, who they know their father's been feuding with, beating Chris Benoit. And
can we see that beating animated?
Beating Chris Benoit, and they're screaming in pain for him because he's getting beat up by two wrestlers. That's legit. Like, wrestling is real. That shit hurts.
If you need to take a moment.
Hush. So, next thing that happens, Benoit powers up. He breaks out of the holds that they have him in because he's one of the best wrestlers ever. He gives both men a headbutt, and that's just a headbutt. Next thing he does, he stands on his couch, gives him a diving headbutt. He loses a tooth, but still.
It's like a swanton bomb.
Hush.
Okay.
The diving headbutt is a diving headbutt. Swanton bomb is a front flip, but used by Jeff Hardy. But anyway, so those men are battered and bloody, all three men. But Kevin Nash is a veteran, and so is Orlando Jordan, and they have the numbers game. So Kevin Nash gives Chris Benoit a jackknife power bomb onto a table, and then throws him down the basement stairs, and he lands like this on his Bowflex machine.
Hold on, can we get that again?
And he lands like this on his Bowflex machine.
Okay.
And that's why people think he hung himself on his Bowflex machine, because those bastards threw him down there. And then, it's obvious what they do next. They stab his fucking wife, stab his fucking kid.
But there was no stab wounds found on the body.
Yeah, because little did they know, Kevin Nash was a fucking vampire. And he fucking healed those wounds. But anyway, that's beyond the point. He was part of the Wolfpack, blah blah, NWO, yeah, he's a beast, whatever. And they're not, why would they tell the truth? Because they're still alive. They would get put in jail for that shit. Like, it's just ridiculous that people think Benoit killed his entire family. It's absolutely absurd.
So you don't
I'm tired of
think
this
at
shit.
any time he crippled or cross-faced any members of his family?
No, because for one, his son wasn't old and he wasn't old enough because his body was not big enough to have a cripple or crossface applied to him. And for two, it's been noted that Benoit loved to use wrestling moves in the bed, shit like that. And at times, he would put Nancy into a cripple crossface. But they've been together for a lot of years now, and Nancy knows how to get out of a cripple crossface. So that's not what got him.
Some speculation was that his son actually challenged his father to a wrestling match. And then
there is some truth to that, because his son always did want to be a wrestler, but continue.
Well, so his son was mentally retarded, that is correct.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
He challenges his father to a wrestling match.
Yeah, of course. He's a little kid, he wants to wrestle.
Gets crippled crossface by Chris Benoit.
Well, yeah, it was more
kills him immediately.
It was more of a crispy crossface because it was a tiny one, but.
And then he tags in his mother right before he dies.
Well, yeah, it was a handicap match.
So Chris Benoit swanton bombs his wife, kills her immediately. But as he swanton bombs her, he has a bit of like a tiny wings incident, bounces back up, lands on his Bowflex machine, and wraps around him, and he's humming.
Well, here's what's fake about that story. The only one that knows how to do the swanton bomb in the entire world is Jeff Hardy. And Jeff Hardy has never taught anyone, not even his brother Matt. So, maybe, if that's what you're thinking, maybe it was fucking Jeff Hardy that swanton bombed.
Okay, well, that is very insightful. That is all the time we have for today. Thank you, Austin Rooter.
No, not a problem.
AKA Roots.
I want to clear up the dirt on Benoit. He's a great wrestler. He always will be, and he's always one of my favorites.
Okay. Thank you once again.
Yes, of course.